Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keeping Fish Simple. So in today's video, I was just about to clean my Bristlenose Pleco aquarium, and these guys have been pumping out babies like crazy for me. So today, I've had heaps of people ask me in the past, how do you get your Bristlenose Plecos to lay eggs? Because a lot of people actually struggle with their Bristlenose Plecos laying the eggs. So today I'm going to give you some of the pieces of advice that I've learned from breeding these guys up, and some of the things that I've done to get them to lay eggs if they're not laying eggs for you, and some pieces of advice just in general for breeding them. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you stay around to the end of the video to make sure that you guys get every single piece of information I'm giving out. So this is my Bristlenose Pleco aquarium, and as you can see, it's really dirty at the moment. There's tons of gunk in the bottom corners, and that's just because I've been feeding these guys up really heavily, and it's going to be getting a clean today. But as you can see, there is just so many babies. I put some in here just to cycle this little box, and all along the sides as well, there's just tons of these little tiny guys. And it's really cool because we've got the albinos in here, and we've also got the common styles of Bristlenose. So today, obviously, there's a guy in there. So this is our male, and there's no other males in this aquarium. There's only females and this one male, which makes his job really tricky because he's always breeding and pumping out babies for me. But some of the things that happen with Bristlenose when they are in a tank and they're not breeding is, the first thing is there's not good enough nutrition in the aquarium. And that can be a common problem if these guys aren't getting their vitamins that they need to make those eggs. So the first thing is nutrition, and the other thing is obviously going to be the tank parameters and the fish themselves. So the first thing you can do is, if you guys are getting heaps of these Bristlenose just running around and they look like they're about to lay eggs, but they're not laying eggs, the first thing to do is to make sure you've got a cave in your aquarium. These guys definitely need caves in their aquariums to breed, otherwise there's no space for them to lay their eggs, and they won't do it like under logs and stuff like that. They normally really do need a cave. So if you don't have a cave, get one of these. You can get them at every local fish store, and they're not hard to find at all. And then the next thing after that to check is the diet. So I feed my Bristlenose like every day. I feed them tons of green beans. I feed them algae wafers. I feed them all sorts of different foods and stuff, you know, to keep them healthy and to keep them fat. So you want these guys to be really fat, and they will take some kinds of like live food. So I've got crebensis in this aquarium, and I'm always putting bloodworms and stuff like that in this aquarium, and they're eating some of those at the bottom to get their nutrition. The other thing that's really important with the Bristlenose is to make sure you have wood in the aquarium. So I have heaps of driftwood. This is Malaysian driftwood in the back, and they need that because there's heaps of vitamins in there for them to use as well for eating. So that's another really important thing that you have to do when you have these guys, is to make sure you got wood in the aquarium. So my number one piece of advice is, if these guys aren't laying eggs, the first thing to do is to do a massive 50% water change. And doing this, you want to add a little bit colder water than what's in the aquarium, and these guys will think that it's the rainy season. Now in the wild, they do breed in the rainy season. The reason they do this is because they think that when there's heaps of rain, there's obviously more food and more algae growth and stuff like that. So there's going to be heaps of food for their babies to eat and to consume. And here we go, let's get a good view of these guys. So they do lay their eggs when it rains. So the best thing you can do to make these guys lay their eggs is to do a massive water change and trick them into thinking that there's been a big rain. And generally, within 24 hours after that, they should lay their eggs. Now, if not, just make sure you guys have a cave, and make sure you've got some wood in the aquarium, and you should have some success. The other thing that I have to give you guys as a piece of advice is to have patience. Breeding fish does take patience, and sometimes they don't cooperate with you. Make sure that you are patient with your fish and that you give them all the things that they need and require to breed. And then make sure as well that you're keeping the tank parameters at a lower pH for these guys to have their optimal environment. Another thing that some people forget is that these guys don't really breed until they're really mature. So sometimes when you buy them in like local fish stores and stuff, you have to wait till they get to a really big size, like the one up here, and they won't lay eggs until they're at that size. So that's another really important thing. Like if you have a look at this girl back here, she often lays eggs for me, and she is at least 2 years old now. So you do have to be patient with these guys, but if they are old and they're not laying their eggs for you, make sure you got a cave, make sure you got some wood, and then make sure that you do a massive water change, and these guys should lay some eggs for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys got something out of this, and I will see you guys in the next video.